Your attention, masters, mistresses. All systems functional for the Everything Geek podcast.
Hey, this is Rich McDonald, and I play Commander David Mason on Call of Duty Black Ops 2. And you're listening to Everything Geek podcast.
It's James Arnold Taylor, the voice of Obi-Wan Kenobi and Master Plo Koon in Star Wars The Clone Wars, and you're listening to Everything Geek, the podcast.
Hey, it's Leif Gamfert. I played Uncle Ben's killer in The Amazing Spider-Man, and you're listening to the Everything Geek podcast.
Hello, I'm Simon Fisherbecker. You probably know me better as Dorian Moldovar from Doctor Who, or the Fat Friar from Harry Potter. And this is Everything Geek podcast.
Face it, Tiger. You just hit the jackpot with the Everything Geek podcast.
You're listening to the Everything Geek podcast, bringing you interviews from your favorite films and TV shows every week, and all of the latest news. Here's your host, Ruari Williamson.
Hello everyone, you're listening to the Everything Geek podcast. I'm your host Rory, and joining me today is a very special guest. We have actress Camren Bicondova, who stars as Selina Kyle in Gotham, which airs Mondays on Fox. How are you today?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Very good, thanks. It's a pleasure to have you on the podcast today.
Thank you. I'm excited to talk. I would say be here, but I'm not really there with you, so I'd say I'm excited to be talking to you.
Yeah, which is just as appropriate, of course. So getting round to my questions for you, Camren, just for some background information for some of our listeners who may not be aware of your background, can you tell us how you got into acting?
Yeah, I started off dancing, so I've been dancing since I was 5, and when I was about 10 years old, I decided to go into dance professionally. So I was a professional dancer, and then eventually I wanted to try something different. So I started training in acting, and then after 2 years of straight training and auditioning, I got Gotham.
That's really interesting. That's a great combination to have, isn't it? Both acting and dancing.
It is, especially for Selina, because she's not very communicative, but she's very, she's not very communicative in a physical way, but when it comes to her body language, she communicates very much through her body language, and so I don't think that I would be able to play Selina as naturally and humanly if I wasn't a dancer.
Yeah, definitely. And in terms of Selina, of course, the last time we saw her on the show was the argument scene she had with Bruce and then her leaving him. What can you tell us about Selina's mindset now that she's on her own again?
She doesn't really have a mindset at the moment. She's trying to figure that out. She definitely knows that she does not want to depend on anybody else but herself, and she doesn't start anywhere. But not necessarily struggling, but she's definitely going to be fighting that line of bad after betrayal. The one that happened with it's very hard, but I don't think she wants to, because then she'd be like, season she's going to be trying to out. Wants to go and how she's there, and basically what she wants out of life.
Yeah, definitely. So the rest of the season is going to be kind of Selina coming into her own in a way, like you said, finding what she wants in life, really.
Yeah, and initially I thought going into this quote-unquote change, that's what I was seeing it as, but then as I started working, I realized that she's not changing at all. She's just going back to her roots. When we see her in the very first episode of the series, she's a very independent young girl who's wise beyond her years, and she's just surviving. And she doesn't really care about anyone else but herself. And so she's not really going through a change, but she's definitely going back to her roots. And I think that's what's going to be really cool for the audience to see is her doing that.
Yeah, definitely. That sounds really interesting. Thanks for sharing that. And can you also say, will we see her gradually start to become a bit more like Catwoman in the rest of this season?
I think she's always gradually growing and becoming the woman that she's meant to become. But this season specifically, she is going to take one step that she kind of does in a hopeful way, kind of a leap of faith that she takes with a certain person, and it's not a step toward becoming Catwoman, but it is a step that she will take that will eventually help her figure out what she wants to become.
It's really interesting. Well, I look forward to seeing that then play out. Over the course of the show, of course, there's been a lot of episodes. I mean, you're 3 seasons in, of course, but which episode would you say has been the most challenging for you to film so far?
I wouldn't say the most challenging, but the most exhausting episodes were definitely the episodes with Selina's mom, because they were so emotionally draining that I was so exhausted by the time I was done with work. Even if it was just a 6-hour day, there was so much emotion behind the scenes that I felt so exhausted by the time I was done. So I'd say those were the most exhausting. And then, those were the most exhausting episodes for me.
That's really interesting, because sometimes I feel like a lot of people assume that it's the episodes with a lot of action that are the exhausting ones. But that's really interesting that you bring up the emotional ones, because they are very draining in their own way, of course.
Yeah, and the action scenes are tiring too. There was one fight scene that I got to do later in the season that was extra exhausting because it was both and emotionally exhausting. But that was just one scene, and so I think the emotional scenes are, for me at least, the emotional scenes are always more exhausting because it's always it's very deep, and it's you have to put your whole being into it. Whereas with a fight scene, most of the time, depending on the angle of the camera, you can kind of half-ass it, for lack of a better term. You can basically mark it. So with the emotional scenes, I always put my whole being into it, and that's why those are most exhausting for me.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Now, as you touched on earlier in the interview, you are also a dancer as well as an actress. Have your abilities as a dancer greatly helped you in portraying Selina? Are there any scenes in particular over the seasons that you remember them being particularly useful?
Yeah, it has definitely helped me with her communication and with her movement. As far as the scenes that have specifically helped me because of my dance background, I'd say all the fight scenes. Those are definitely the ones that I've seen my dance come in handy. The one fight scene that I kind of touched base on in the previous question about it being very emotional and physically draining, that scene was really cool for me because I was rolling around and doing all this stuff, and so I think my dance definitely helped me in that specific scene too.
Yeah, it's really great.
But I'm not going to say who that's with because it's a really cool scene, and it would be spoilery if I told you more about it. So I'm not going to say any more about it.
For shame. That's such a tease. No, but I don't blame you. You always have to tease fans like us. You always have to leave us wanting more.
That's all we actors are teasers.
Definitely, I'm not going to disagree with you there. What do you think fans should be most excited about for the remaining episodes in this season of Gotham?
The chaos. Because everything is even more chaotic than Gotham has in the past, because now the Court of Owls is known by everyone. Before, Court of Owls was known by no one, and now almost everyone knows about them. And it's all not only that, but also a lot of the normal characters on the show, a lot of them are looking for independence. Nigma, for example, is looking for independence. Selina is looking for independence. Bruce is also looking for independence. Penguin is looking for independence. So when people break away from their comfortabilities and their friendships and whatnot, it always creates friction. And in Gotham, everyone is connected. And even though Nigma and Selina aren't really friendly with each other, don't really know each other that well, they're still connected just as much as Ivy and Bruce Wayne are connected. And so I'd say that's what's going to be the most exciting part for people to see, is the chaos that's erupting in Gotham.
That's another very interesting tease. I feel like I'm being spoiled. Wow, that was quite the laugh you have there.
I have like 5 laughs, and it annoys my mom so much sometimes, because she's like, pick one, pick a laugh.
No, I know the feeling. I'm not the best at like doing accents or anything, but I'm very good at doing character laughs, and it drives my family insane. So I completely know the feeling.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now, aside from Gotham, do you have any other upcoming acting roles or other projects that you would like to talk about? Maybe not necessarily acting-wise.
Nothing acting-wise, but I'm just trying to finish school, to be honest. That's my next project. That's my ongoing project that's been going on for the last, how many years have I been in school? 12. So, counting kindergarten, basically 13 years of my life I've been trying to finish school. So, that's my next project, or my ongoing project.
Well, good luck with that. I wish you all of the best with your remaining years in school.
Thank you. It's important. Education is important, so I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And now we still have a few minutes left, so if it's okay with you, I have some questions from some of our listeners I could ask as well.
Okay.
So, first of all, Matt Hester would like to know, what is your favourite memory from the set of Gotham, like from any episode you shot?
Nothing. Well, there was one. The last Comic-Con that we were at this past July was really fun. That's a really good memory for me, because all of our characters are pretty much on their own path. So a lot of the times we, as the actors, we don't really get to see everyone at the same time, because our characters are all over the place. But so when we get to be together, it's really fun. So Comic-Con was really great. And then also there was a scene earlier in the season when Penguin became mayor, and the episode was directed by TJ Scott, and it was this huge party at Sirens, and everybody in the underworld of Gotham was there, besides Bruce Wayne. I mean, he's not part of the underworld, but everyone was there, and so it was a good 2 to 3 days of everyone being in the same place at the same time. there was a whole bunch of goofballs, and it was almost, I felt like I was back in normal high school where, you know, you're talking to your friend next to you, and then the teacher, who in this case was the director or the DP, was like, hey, be quiet, and then you kind of snicker like and then so it just felt like it was really cool. So I'd say that was a good memory.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. That sure sounds like a great memory for sure. And
yeah.
The next question is from Tammy Louise Stapleton, who would like to know, what were you doing when you found out you would be portraying Selina Kyle, and what was your reaction to the news?
I was at my manager's house, and I had just gotten off. I had just gotten out of school, and I had been waiting all freaking day. They told me that we would know by that morning, and I didn't hear anything. And so I was kind of preparing myself for another rejection, because I had already waited a week for the news, and so I was preparing myself for rejection. And my mom picked me up, and she was like, "Okay, we're gonna go to Holly." Holly's now, that's my manager's name is Holly, and so I was like, "Did you hear anything yet? Did you hear anything yet?" She's like, "No." And then I got there, and I got the call that I would be playing Selina Kyle. And I don't even remember what I did. I just know that on the inside, I was screaming and jumping and having the time of my life. But I also felt kind of betrayed because my manager and mom knew from like 9 that morning that I got it, and they didn't tell me. And I was like, what the heck? I was waiting all day. So that's what I did. I internally screamed and laughed and jumped.
That's just awful. Like they didn't tell you all day. Like that's just not right.
Yeah, they didn't tell me all day. I sat in English class. I sat in dance class. I sat in history class. I sat at lunch. I sat at science class, math class. Nothing. No word. But it's cool. I'm here now, so that's what matters.
Yeah, that's what matters. It's still a little bit cruel, though.
It is.
What? Yeah. Now, I can't remember what age you were when you were cast in Gotham, or probably I don't know at all, but you knew how to say what the heck back then? Yeah.
Yeah, what the heck? Yeah, I still say what the heck. It's the greatest term of all time.
Yeah, just had to point out, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't blame you, though. Just saying, I can't blame you. Yeah, if I had to wait all day like that, yeah, I'd probably say what the heck, too.
Yeah. Well, it's better than some other things that some teenagers say. So I figured I was in good hands.
Yeah, definitely. So next of all, and our last question is from Ryan Richards. He would like to know if you're going to go to any conventions in the UK this year, as he says you went to one in Blackpool last year and it was brilliant meeting you.
Oh yeah, thank you. I don't know if I'm going to be going to any conventions in the UK. I don't really know about any conventions yet. So I guess I'll just have to wait and see.
Well, fingers crossed that more fans in the UK will get to meet you at a convention eventually. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's all of our questions for you today, Camren. It's been a pleasure talking to you on the podcast.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me. I had fun talking to you.
You're very welcome. It was very fun talking to you as well, and hopefully we can do it again sometime.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a great reaction. So we'll talk to you again soon, and take care. Bye.
Okay, you too. Bye.
Gotham airs Mondays on Fox at 8/7 Central. The show returns with the episode How the Riddler Got His Name this Monday, April 24th. Time to wrap up today's show. Make sure to check out our podcast links, Check out our website, www.everythinggeekpodcast.com/EGP. Check out our Facebook page, www.facebook.com/everythinggeekpodcast. Check out our YouTube channel, www.youtube.com/user/everythinggeekcast. Check us out on Twitter, twitter.com/everythinggeekp. Check us out on Instagram, instagram.com/official-everythinggeekpodcast. Check out our Mixcloud profile, www.mixcloud.com/everythinggeekpodcast. Email us at the following email, everythinggeekpodcast@gmail.com. Check out our companion podcast, Everything Geek Comiccast, www.facebook.com/everythinggeekcomiccast. Make sure to check out the host's YouTube channels. Mine is www.youtube.com/user/Septus Destroyers. Check out Camren Bicondova on Twitter, twitter.com/Camren Bicondova, and check out channel 1138 where we broadcast live from, www.channel1138.com. Geeks out, everyone.
I would say actually that there's a tie between two. I would say one of them hasn't aired yet, so I can't talk too much about it, but one of them has. One of them was in season 2, episode...
I kept meeting some strange birds, and I got really nervous that if I spent, decades sitting alone for 8 to 10 hours a day with an inanimate object, that I would